Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with more Star Wars content. If you're new, channel, welcome. We got another video for you, and this one's by Red 5. So shout out and credit goes to Red 5 as always for doing an amazing job with these videos. And this one is called the 6 levels of force sensitivity explained. Now, I didn't know there were levels of force sensitivity actually. So this one is actually really new to me, and I don't know what the levels are, if they have like names for them or anything. So I'm going to actually into this completely blind. So without anything else, let's just jump into it.
Have you ever wondered what truly determines the potential of every Force user? There's a tiny element at play, one thing that is often overlooked, and it lives inside of them.
Midichlorians.
This microscopic thing is the key to understanding your favorite characters and their levels of power, allowing us to classify every being in the Star Wars galaxy into 6 power tiers based on their force sensitivity. But before we get into the 6 levels of force sensitivity, we first have to explain how it's even measured. This is a midichlorian. It's one of the most controversial concepts George Lucas introduced in the prequel trilogy. The intelligent life forms lived symbiotically inside the cells of all living things. When present in sufficient enough numbers, they allowed their host to detect and harness the power of the Force. This is where the controversy lies, as some fans felt that it recontextualized the Force as something more scientific than mystical, a departure from the original trilogy. Many believed that the concept of midichlorians made Force sensitivity seem predetermined by one's biology, rather than something that could be achieved through willpower, training, or belief. The idea that a higher midichlorian count made one more powerful in the Force seemed to take away from the notion that anyone could potentially connect to the Force. But that's not entirely true. We'll explain later in the video with the example of a fan favorite Jedi Master. While every living thing has midichlorians living inside them, some have a higher midichlorian count than others.
Over 20,000.
An individual's M count
I remember
can be
that.
measured through a blood test, with the Jedi Order frequently using this method to test potential initiates around the time of the Clone Wars. Through M-Count, we are also able to classify every single character in the Star Wars galaxy into the 6 levels of force sensitivity. The first level, or normal level for lack of a better term, consisted of those with an M-Count of less than 2,500 per cell. A person with a midichlorian count this low would likely never experience any sort of pull to the Force.
That's probably us right now.
They would never realize any abilities, even the most basic ones like precognition or enhanced reflexes. This is where your average Joe slots in. For instance, humans like Owen Lars, those stormtroopers with terrible aim, and even notable heroes like Lando Calrissian.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
Even more capable combatants like Jango Fett and Boba Fett sit at this level. Proof that force sensitivity isn't the end-all be-all in a galaxy far, far away. The next tier consists of those who are mildly force sensitive, with an M count of about 5,000 per cell.
So this is probably level 2.
Unaware of it, these individuals are able to subconsciously use subtle force abilities, such as being able to sense imminent danger or another person from a great distance. One person who likely fits into this tier is none other than Han Solo, despite his own skepticism regarding the Force.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
If Han were to have this slightly above average midichlorian count, even without knowing it, it would explain why he was such an amazing star pilot. After all, his feats in the cockpit were unprecedented for a non-Force user, having navigated through the notoriously treacherous Akadezi Maelstrom when he completed the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Furthermore, the Corellian smuggler was an excellent shot, even when he became old and gray. In The Force Awakens, he fired this no-look behind-the-back shot at a stormtrooper that he couldn't have possibly known was going to be there.
Oh, I thought that was just luck.
Another to fit this tier would be Finn, as hinted at several times throughout the sequels. His mild force sensitivity would explain why he was able to hold his own in a lightsaber duel against Kylo Ren with no formal training. He was also able to connect with Rey and sense impending danger.
I mean, in my opinion, Episode 7 through 9, I was like, I don't think this is just well planned, well thought out, or well planned. They just pretty much just like, here, hold this and just start swinging that lightsaber. So I don't know about that because it doesn't really match. Because even if he was mildly sensitive, Kylo Ren could still could easily like dispatch them faster than that. But then again, hey, it's just a movie.
Danger on multiple occasions. Finn was going to reveal his mild force sensitivity to Rey in The Rise of Skywalker, but ultimately that was cut. Finally, there's Sabine Wren. Despite being trained as Ahsoka Tano's apprentice, it's revealed by the lightsaber architect droid Huyang that her force aptitude was so low that the Jedi Order would have never accepted her for training. Those that would actually be accepted into the Order fit in the potential Jedi level, with an M count of about 9,000 per cell. During the time of the Galactic Republic, if a child was found to have a midichlorian count in the 8,000 to 9,000 range, they would be kidnapped, recruited, and brought to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. However, that didn't necessarily mean they would become a Jedi Knight and engage in combat on the front lines of the Clone Wars. Jedi with this level of force sensitivity typically failed their initiate trials to become Padawans, and were assigned to the far less glorious Jedi Service Corps. There they fulfilled roles vital to the day-to-day operations of the Jedi Order, within one of 4 branches: the Agricultural Corps, Medical Corps, Educational Corps, and Exploration Corps. An example of a Jedi at this level would be Jocasta Nu, the chief librarian of the Jedi Temple's archives. Though she wasn't particularly well-versed in lightsaber combat, or as force-sensitive as the other Jedi we'll get to shortly, she was incredibly knowledgeable. Master Jocasta...
To be honest, guys, I didn't think it was because of her midichlorians count. I thought it was because now she achieved such a great old age that they took her off of combat, and now they just placed her in a position where she's not going to be in any harm's way, and she could help the younger the younger generation. You know, kind of like if you go to like any library, there are like some senior individuals, like older women, older men who are working at libraries or like places that are very quiet and slow. I thought that's what it was, not because of her midichlorian count.
aided her fellow Jedi in finding the information they needed while controlling access to several restricted vaults and artifacts. She even survived the initial events of Order 66.
Oh yeah, I read this comic. It was amazing.
And hide information vital to training a new generation of Jedi, which would later be discovered by Luke Skywalker. Another example of characters in this midichlorian range would be most of the Imperial Inquisitors, like the 6th Brother or 10th Brother. They were specifically chosen at this lower power level so they could never have a chance of overthrowing Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. They were pawns used by the Empire to hunt down Jedi, and nothing more. The next tier of midichlorian density is where you find the more powerful Jedi Knight, with an M count around 12,000 per cell. This mid-tier consisted of those Jedi who you would see leading clone trooper forces into battle during the Clone Wars. Most Jedi with this M count were likely to become Jedi Masters and take on Padawan learners, with the most wise and powerful earning the right to sit in one of the 12 pristine seats of the Jedi High Council. This is where you'll find Masters and Council members like Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Kit Fisto, who are all speculated to have had an M count of around 12,000. Though some of the wisest and most powerful Jedi of their time, there's still a defined 2 tiers above them. Another prime example would be Obi-Wan Kenobi, who sat in the 13,000 M count density range, almost in the middle of this tier and the next. Well, this might sound like a lot, it's definitely not as much as many opponents that he was able to defeat in combat.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is proof that your midichlorian count doesn't necessarily determine your success. It's exactly like the saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. The 5th level and second highest is where you'll find the most powerful of Jedi Master, clocking in with an M count of around 15,000 per cell.
Yoda and
these, of course,
Mace
are the
Windu are
Order's
probably in this
true
one.
elite. Jedi Masters who possessed knowledge and abilities that those below them could not match. 15,000 midichlorians per cell is generally accepted as the max ceiling of midichlorian level, though there are rare exceptions which...
Yeah, so I'm willing to bet the next level is probably only Anakin and maybe some individuals that, for me personally, I'm not aware of.
We'll get to shortly. This belief is reinforced by the Sith Lord Darth Tenebrous, the master of Darth Sidious's master, Darth Plagueis, for those unaware.
Wait.
Master of this belief is reinforced by the Sith Lord Darth Tenebrous, the master of Darth Sidious's master.
Oh, so Darth Tenebrous is the master of Darth Plagueis? That I did not know.
Darth Plagueis, for those unaware, who said a being
like
of pure force might have an M count of 15,000 or more, implying that most Force sensitives could not have a count that high. Examples of Jedi Masters at this level would be Count Dooku, who is estimated to have around 14,000, and Mace Windu, who is in the 16,000 range. But there's still one more level to go. We'll effectively call this the Chosen One tier, for obvious reasons, as it's where you find those with an M count of around 20,000 per cell. As we teased, this is where you find the Chosen One himself, Anakin Skywalker, who was believed to have been conceived by the midichlorians themselves. Because of this, Anakin possessed the highest M count ever recorded at over 20,000. This was even higher than Yoda's, which shocked Qui-Gon Jinn and reinforced his belief that Anakin was in fact the prophesized Chosen One that would bring balance to the Force. We also have to mention the two other Force wielders who fit in this tier, although slightly below Anakin, Darth Sidious and Yoda, both of whom were pushing 20,000 midichlorians per cell, but weren't quite there. It's also highly likely that Luke Skywalker would be somewhere in this range. Genetics weren't everything, but that mighty Skywalker blood gives him an edge over most other Jedi. Unfortunately, we don't have his exact M count to confirm, as the blood tests used by the Jedi Order were not common anymore in the post-Imperial galaxy. Nevertheless, Luke included information on them in his book, The Secrets of the Jedi, where he chronicled the Jedi Order's forgotten history. Luke was less concerned about why he was strong with the Force, and was simply content in the knowledge that the Force was with him.
Now that was a very informative video. 6 levels of Force sensitivity. So every single one of us fit into level 1. But it's really cool to know that there are several levels of Force sensitivity, and the names of the tiers and levels that are in this video, I guess it was just made by Red 5, so it's not like something official. But to know that there are levels of Force sensitivity, and now I learned that the characters that I know in Star Wars, like Sabine Wren and several Jedi and all have different levels of Force sensitivity because of the midichlorians. So that's really cool, and this was really new to me, so I'm really happy I came across this video. So this is something that is also new to you, or you guys have any more information, please put down in the comments below. I really would appreciate it. Anyways, that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. So with anything else, I'll see you guys next time.